Hi guys, I'm going to be looking at a few small towns in New Zealand and I'm going to be getting a feel for how these local property markets are tracking. All of this information is freely available in the public domain and was accurate as of the 6th of September 2025. Today's town I'm going to be looking at is Kawerau in the Bay of Plenty. Kawerau has a population of approximately 7,600 people. Kawerau is in a beautiful location in the Bay of Plenty. It is just over 20 kilometres to the glistening Bay of Plenty coastline and just over 10 kilometres from the pristine Lake Rotorua, and it doesn't take long to visit all of the other incredible Rotorua lakes from Kawerau. Kawerau is one of the youngest towns in New Zealand, and it was founded in 1953 as a mill town for the new Tasman pulp and paper mill. The vast mill supported many jobs in the town. It processed logs into pulp and paper for newsprint and was hailed as one of New Zealand's major industrial achievements. However, a declining newspaper market and high electricity prices ultimately led to the closure of the mill's last paper machine in 2021. There are a couple smaller companies still operating on the site, processing wood and converting it into pulp for use in the manufacture of paper, tissue and building products. However, there are nowhere near as many employees needed as there once was. As a result, Kawerau has a big problem with unemployment. And where there is unemployment, there also often comes socio-economic disadvantages. Now this can cause a variety of problems. One problem is that with less income, generally people have to rent, and where there is a large proportion of renters, there is an even larger proportion of parasitic investors circling the area, hoping to make a quick buck from the desperation of others. The current number of real estate listings for sale in this specific area shown on this map is 63. And when you zoom out, you can see that 63 properties for sale in such a small area is a lot. So now let's look at a few properties that are currently for sale for anyone who is looking to buy in Kawerau. The first one that I'm going to be looking at today was listed on the 25th of February 2025. The title says, "Sunny and central, packed with potential." The description says, "Whether you're a first home buyer, savvy investor, or seeking a cozy place to retire, this home is packed with features to suit your needs." So we will get on to how much of a savvy investor you would have to be to buy this home in a bit. Inquiries over $419,000. So once again, not even an asking price. They are only interested in inquiries over. And remember that this has been for sale for 7 months now. Now perhaps they could be less demanding and be reasonable with potential buyers. This passive-aggressive inquiries over stance does not go down well with most buyers, I can assure you. The latest July 2024 CV was $400,000. This property was last purchased in May 2021 for $380,000. 2 years before this person paid $380,000, this property sold for $230,000. Now they want a savvy investor like them to pay over $419,000. So I wonder why they haven't found this savvy investor yet, who can see value in paying nearly double the 2019 price. Who knows, perhaps some savvy investors are more savvy than others. And the next property was listed on the 16th of June. The title says, "Family-friendly Kawerau home with rural charm." The description says, "Surrounded by green hills and peaceful rural views. It's a place to put down roots while staying close to schools, shops and Kawerau's popular walks." Now it does sound like an absolute paradise, I have to say. The asking price is $489,000. The latest July 2024 CV is $435,000. The property was last purchased in November 2020 for $380,000. Previously, this property was purchased in 2015 for $125,000. So in just 10 years, this house is now worth 4 times more than it was in 2015, really? And the really sad thing is that without investors snapping everything up, prices would not be anywhere near this high and locals would still have some hope of owning their own home. But that chance has been stolen forever, and the RBNZ and the useless governments and their landlord promoting policies of what's caused this mess. So the next property we're going to look at was listed on the 28th of July 2025. The title says Peaceful Outlook, Practical Potential in Kawerau. The description says, set right across from a park with river walks and beautiful views. This property is full of potential and ready for someone to bring it to life. I'm sorry, but for this price I would have expected it to already be extremely alive, wouldn't you? The asking price is $460,000. The latest July 2024 CV is $400,000. The property was last purchased in December 2019 for $215,000. So they purchased it. Obviously have done very little, if anything, to it because they have said it needs bringing back to life. And I can actually confirm it does need bringing back to life when I've looked at the photos and the wallpaper is peeling off the walls. But now these people want to make $245,000 profit without doing anything to the property by the looks. It really is a mystery why so many young Kiwis are leaving, isn't it? So the next property was listed on the 3rd of September 2025. The title says Balance Ray Ready Now. The description says, tucked away in a quiet part of town with a lovely bushland backdrop, this standalone 3-bedroom home is a brilliant opportunity for first home buyers, retirees or investors alike. There you go, investors again. It's on for inquiries over $425,000. There you go with the passive-aggressive arm control pricing once again. Inquiries over. The latest July 2024 CV is $390,000. The property was last purchased in February 2020 for $340,000. And a year earlier, it was sold in February 2019 for $185,000. So someone's seen someone coming, that's all I can say. But now this someone wants inquiries over $425,000. I just hope and pray that another genius investor is the one who snaps this up at these incredible prices and not some first home buyer. That's all I can say. Now the last property that I'm going to be looking at in Kawerau was listed on the 3rd of September. The title says, Inner City Style Living in Jellicoe. The description says, there's nothing quite like living in the inner sanctum with so much to see and right at your fingertips. Now this is on about the town centre of Kawerau. The asking price is $550,000. Now the information on this property is harder to find. It looks like the latest CV was updated on the 1st of August 2024 and the CV is now $500,000. And it also looks like this property was last purchased in March 2022 for $145,000, but I cannot absolutely confirm that. I don't really know what to say about this property, but it is a shop that has been turned into accommodation in the middle of Kawerau town. So with regard to this property and its description, which says, there's nothing quite like living in the inner sanctum with so much to see and right at your fingertips. I would just like to show you what you can get for approximately $550,000 in a beautiful Docklands area of Melbourne, where there are plenty of jobs, very high wages available, and there really is so much to see and right at your fingertips. I'm sorry, but New Zealand's towns need to come back down to earth because right now house prices all over New Zealand are in total la-la land. Investors think that the insane, artificially pumped up price rises are going to keep on going for eternity. But if that happens, then you can say goodbye to not only this generation, but every future generation. There is nothing wrong with New Zealand's small towns, but there is something massively wrong with New Zealand's small town house prices. So yes guys, I hope you enjoyed today's look around Kawerau. This is a regular series, so be sure to like and subscribe to see more of these absolute bargains that are incredibly hidden all over New Zealand. Thanks for watching. Cheers for that.